Hello to Appy. Today's topic, well, we're telling typing. First year we ran these Appy Hours in 2014. Typing was our highest rated show. So it was an original oldie and a goodie, and we're bringing it back for your viewing pleasure. With agenda, here is how we're going to roll for today. And if you're cool with this agenda, if you're like, okay, I got this, that works for me, go ahead and if you would, let me know in the chat. Now, my favorite way to ask folks to do that is to give me an emoticon of some sort. I'm flexible on the emoticon. It's like a little nod. It lets me know they're ready to move on. And I do use it as a calling strategy throughout the show. So I'll say any questions, and if you have any, you'll give me an emoticon. You make things, you can exclamation point them. Any questions, you're like, hey, what's up? You can always throw them in the chat. And sometimes it helps to give me tips thinking about a question before you actually post it. All right. I'm going to swap her on our agenda here today and actually introduce our guest speaker for the day. Katie, you can go ahead and unmute your mic if you haven't. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am I'm a technology implementation specialist with Octo, and I am out of a school-based position. I was a math content coach at a school in Silver Spring for a time, and been elementary school teacher the last 20 years.
Whiz at making sure to build capacity in students so that they can communicate, which in this world, by the way, that means typing. I'm going to focus on today, I'm going to give a highlight for, is Typing Club. So can you give a, that elevator speech? What is Typing Club? Give us a quick overview.
Club is an app that they can their app screen from the App Store, and the students log in, they work at their pace, they have lessons that they complete with activities and games, they have different scenarios that they can participate in, and they earn badges and can always see their process and their statistics.
And that we've seen in NCPS. And so we're going to show a little kind of a tour of what it can do for you today. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take you over and bring you Typing Club. And while I do that, Katie, can you share a little bit about, while the screen is changing, will you share a little bit about how you integrate this into your classroom? How you work this in? I mean, we have so much to do as teachers, right?
I mean, it is a challenge to make sure that we get everything done. But my students knew that as soon as they opened the Chromebook, whether they were in math or in writing or in things at reading time, they did the first thing that they had to do was a typing lesson. I put my kids on a schedule for extra practice, and they got to control whether or not they need to increase their speed or their accuracy, and putting them on some kind of a schedule where it was posted on my whiteboard or something to do a little for the Typing Club than other students. They would change the day. In that, for recess was always the time that the kids like to use the Chromebooks, and so I told them that if they wanted to use the Chromebooks, that was fine, but they had to do a typing lesson before they played any kind of game. So typing was very important to me, and I made sure that it was kind of forefront of their Chromebook use the week.
Good advice, whether you're at secondary or at the elementary level. If you can find a way for that downtime that sometimes works into our routines, our programs, and our places, your kids will get a lot out of it. And so come to actually Typing Club. This is the address up. And if you don't know Typing Club, I'm going to go and drop that in the chat. And don't think just because I'm showing you my screen that you can't continue to communicate. If you roll your cursor up, these are my viewers, roll your cursor up to the top of the screen, a menu will drop down, and you can say something, ask a question, whatever. Like that icon, it looks like a speech bubble. All right, click here, and a student, this is kind of, we're going to go to the student view first. Like, what does the student do? Well, first of all, come to Typing Club. I'm guessing if your students, once they got used to it, would just type the address in or Google it, or did you actually share it from a document or a slide or some other way? How did your kids learn to get here?
My kids were fifth graders largely, and they knew just to go to the App Store and launch the app. For students, I think I would probably put it on the bookmark bar, or maybe have it on a Google Classroom page or some kind of page they can just click the link.
And figuring out how you want your students to navigate to it. But once here, they can log in by clicking is that they don't have to memorize a username or email. They can simply click on Google, and as long as they're logged into their Chrome account, which is on a Chromebook in MCPS Activate, you go on Google, see who you are, and I'm actually going to pick my daughter. Thanks, Anna, and click on this one. Into Typing Club. So that's as easy as it is for students. As long as they know where to get to, can log in, enter our Google account, they'll be taken into this portal. And one thing I did notice about this is the free account, which is what we only highlight free stuff, which on Happy Hour does come back. And that's annoying, but there's a lot here we can get into. So what would you recommend your students do when they come into here, Katie?
So I would have my students, they always had to do a lesson. So you can see that over here where it says animated story typing, games and different activities that you can do into the lesson. They always had to do lesson, at least one lesson before they got to play with the other features of the app. So the lessons themselves are pretty entertaining. So they had to complete at least one lesson.
And do you think start or coming to lesson plans or one or both?
Once they've logged in, you would click start and it will pick you up where you last were, and you can see it'll show you what you're focusing on. So right now Anna is working on keep and J and spacebar, and so you see it'll just keep you going on the track and on the path that they have determined is the appropriate path to learn.
And Anna, I can come in and go ahead and take this handy test. How can I do? You would have to. We would see if my typing is up to par. Once you complete the test, so she gets all the way through, I'm actually just going to back. You'll see for the students, the lessons, of which we're wanting them to do, are very gamified. Once they unlock oven, they can get the next one, but they can't move on until they move through each of these different pieces. I found in the past, gamified learning like this tends to be motivational because the kids want to get to the next thing as quickly as possible. Completed and move through these different areas, they can comb, and that can take them into some of the more even more gamified pieces over here, and get started to try some of these different games. Them because they actually are pretty user friendly and follow the same pattern. Do you have any advice with scaffolding students' experiences in the game parts, Katie, from your use of this in the classroom?
Routine check-ins with them to find out where they are. I like to review their stats. And if you notice that one of the menus at the top are badges, that was also very motivational for the kids. We would talk about where they were with their badges and with stats, and we would set little goals, especially I found that we're still, by 5th grade, they should be pretty good, not necessarily fast, but pretty good typers. And so when I saw kids like not utilizing their keystrokes and everything, we would like a little routine and schedule for them so that they would increase their typing ability.
See their own stats by clicking on stats, seeing how much they practiced, they attempted, and their accuracy and coverage. Coming through here, I love having a conversation with the kids. How and where are you going? That's so motivational for them. From women, that's just great too. Is there a way for a teacher to monitor this? I know there's another version that's school-based. Is there anything besides those conversations and looking at the screen here, a basic version of Typing Club?
I use Typing Club. I did not. I would just have the kids pull it up, and it would just be up on their computer, their Chromebook, and then I would either walk around and see how they were doing, or if I had some concerns or wanted to celebrate somebody, I would, paid attention to, make sure I paid attention to specific students.
And while you're paying attention to them, the data here is so cool. I don't know about you, but it makes me want to go practice and see how I'm doing in my typing, not just my account. We will shift over. This is the Typing Club. From when I talk to teachers, most teachers seem to say they use the Typing Club. In fact, my kids actually, Anna came home with her login and how to get into the Typing Club on this version. We will at least let you know that it is possible to create a teacher-based account. This is I teacher, and I'm able to set up a Flowery Test Run Typing Club. I didn't make over the name for my kids' teachers, and able to sign in using your Google account. And then you can have students sign in the way they would to Google Classroom with a special key code, or you can have them just make up a username and password and be assigned to your classroom. If most teachers in MCPS simply use the free version and have conversations with students. And if that's the case, that's an easy, straightforward, simple way to put in action. My Typing Club for Teachers school version, there's a couple different things. You can always get a Typing Club. I have to go for everything. Maybe you're not that kind of person, but I'm a Google person. Get there by clicking here on School Edition and explore those a little bit further if you're interested. Now, if you share Typing Club as an address with students, I'm going to go ahead and drop that in the chat. Press send. Typing Club. Click log in. As logged in with your Google account. Anyone with a Google account can come in. They can provide their lessons. They can play games. That gives them rewards and how well they're doing, and they can even review their stats. Not typing now, channeling my typing teacher, not all typing is on the computer. Are there any pieces of advice you have for the students about how to sit, how to move, and how to really perfect their typing that go beyond just touching a keyboard? Katie?
One teacher in high school, feet firmly on the floor, see a chair, back straight, and with your elbows, like your arms resting on the edge of the keyboard. Proper posture is, and this is one of the things that we don't spend a lot of time on with our kids, into that I also would not allow my kids to do any kind of text speak when they're typing things. If you're doing the word before, you have to spell before, not a B and a 4. They weren't allowed to use any kind of text speak when they were typing. But feet only on the floor, seat in the chair.
I'm stiff as you say it. You have a great teacher voice, Katie. So you all out there will have the same. When you jump into using Typing Club, it's easy to use. It doesn't cost anything. Your students will be highly motivated, particularly by those badges, and the rewards will be plentiful. As you know, not only do students need skill for the rest of their lives, it's really important when it comes to our assessments. None worse than seeing a student struggle and pecking on a keyboard. We know they know the answer and they have fluency on paper. So if we can build routine in students' classrooms, they're going to get a big bang for the buck. Do you have any shots, kind of a last great advice before teachers start implementing Typing Club in their classroom?
And that we do take typing seriously. Students will spend a great deal of time typing, especially as classrooms move to a more digital form. We really need to make sure that they're getting the basic skills, and the Typing Club and apps like this are excellent resources to increase not only their ability, but their speed and accuracy.
More help with apps like this and or more support, I'll remind you that we do live weekly Appy hours. So we're here every week. Our goal is to connect rockstar instruction with awesome apps and kind of give you a window into how to do all the stuff. Also record all our shows. So you can get to our Appy Hour site. I just threw it in the chat. Please feel free to peruse any of those different shows. And don't forget, we have been working really hard in the Office of the Chief Technology Officer to start to organize materials into a central location. We want to make sure everything we know gets to you in one spot, one-stop shop. So have not bookmarked your technology resources folder. If that's something that's new to you today, the link is on the screen. I'm about to drop it in the chat for you as well. Longer version of it. I don't have the shorter version not next to me. You can check out this folder, bookmark it, and get everything you need. Plus, you can also follow our team on Twitter. We've gotten a lot of new people on the team. I only have my Twitter handle here, but Katie, if you have one, go ahead, drop it in the chat. We like to remind you about when Appy Hours are, and we share the latest and greatest stuff that we know. So give us a follow, and we'll make sure you get great stuff. So, for coming here today, whether you came live or you're watching us on recording. Hi, recording. We're glad you came and with us today, and keep connecting awesome apps with Rockstar Instruction.